and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and we got nothing to lose but our chains, and
We are here today because we know we have nothing to lose but our chains. Welcome, we have nothing to lose but our chains. Welcome, everybody. My name is Kenia Alcocer. I'm one of the tri-chairs of the National Steering Committee of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. We are here representing 35 states across the country that are saying no more. No more injustice. No more blocking. No more filibusters. But we're asking for more. We are asking for more for the poor and dispossessed across this country. We're asking for more protections for voting rights. We're asking for all of us to join together in this campaign to make changes. And we're not talking about little changes. We're talking about drastic changes. We're talking about moral changes. And that is why we're here today with women across the country taking the lead. We are what our ancestors dreamt of. We are the seeds that they planted. And here today, as women, we're planting seeds today. And we are building the movement that will give our children and the next generations the life that they deserve. We don't want to survive, we want to thrive. So I am honored to welcome our Reverend Liz Theo Harris, co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign. And please give her a round of applause. Thank you.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Women's Moral March on Washington. That has a nice ring to it, right? The Women's Moral Monday March on Washington. Maybe say it with me. The Women's Moral Monday March on Washington. That's right. So, as Kenya said, my name is Reverend Dr. Liz Theo Harris. I'm the director of the Cairo Center for Religions, Rights, and Social Justice. I'm also the co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. We're gathered here today, a diverse grouping of women. Black women, Latina women, Native women, white women, trans women, queer women, young women, older women, low and no-wage workers, care workers, sub-minimum wage workers, welfare rights activists, women of faith, women not of faith, disabled, from dozens and dozens of states across the country, representing the 42 states and state coordinating committees of the Poor People's Campaign, but also representing dozens of partner organizations, of labor unions, of faith bodies, because our democracy is in peril. Yes. Yes. In this time, when our voting rights are under attack, and economic justice is being denied, we must, and so we are, calling out the immoral obstructionism of Congress. Yes. We're demanding that the United States Senate end the filibuster. Say that with me. End the filibuster. All right. We're also demanding to pass all the provisions of the For the People Act. Let's say that. Pass all the provisions of the For the People Act. We're demanding to fully restore the 1965 Voting Rights Act. Let's say it. Fully restore the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And we're demanding that we raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Let's raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Right now. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Now. Today is the anniversary of the Women's Convention at Seneca Falls. And 173 years later, we are still fighting. We are still struggling. We are still declaring that when you live in a nation that has 140 million people who are poor, or one emergency, one healthcare crisis, one job loss from economic ruin, including 70 million people, women of all races, all genders, all sexual orientations, all faith traditions. This is immoral. Voting rights are under attack in every region of the country. We have fewer voting rights today than we did 56 years ago, despite the fact that people gave their lives. Blood was shed for us to have those rights. But as those who gathered in Seneca Falls declared, now, in view of this entire disenfranchisement of over 1/2 of the people in this country, their social and religious degradation, in the view of unjust laws, and because women do feel themselves aggrieved, oppressed, and fraudulently deprived of the most sacred of rights, we insist that we have immediate admission of all the rights, all the privileges which belong to everyone in these United States. Today in 2021, poor women, especially poor women of color, LGBTQIA women, are disproportionately bearing the brunt of low wages and precarious work, heightened care responsibilities, the climate crisis, forever wars, and the continued denial of our basic rights, including our right to vote. We are all too aware that the extremist politicians who are suppressing and stealing our ability to vote are the same politicians who deny living wages, refuse to expand health care, exploit immigrants and LGBTQIA people and women. And so we march. We march for our children. We march for our elders. We march for our families. We march for our partners. We march for our communities. We march because it is immoral. It is wrong to take away our voting rights and to steal the promise of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness for absolutely everyone. We march so that we can move forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back. Forward together, not one step back. This Women's Moral Monday March on Washington is part of a season of nonviolent direct action. We launched this last week, and dozens of partners, over 40 state coordinating committees, and thousands of faith leaders are a part of this effort. We demand that the U.S. Senate enact all of these demands by the 56th anniversary, August 6, 2021. And if you're following with us online, please join us. Forward together. Not one step back. Forward together. Not one step back. Forward together. Not one step back.
Thank you so much, Reverend Liz Steele Harris. Woo! We have amazing leadership within the campaign. And every woman here represents the 140 million people that are poor or low income in this country. And we're going to bring 3 leaders from 3 different states that have been working in this campaign and that are leading the work on the ground. So first, Maureen from Oklahoma.
I'm Marianne. I'm from Oklahoma. I'm a daughter, a mother, and 5 of my 6 grandchildren are young women in their teens and 20s. Just as the generations before me marched for equality and justice, I am marching for them. I carry with me today the voices of all the poor and low wealth, women, children, and marginalized citizens of Oklahoma. Rather than seeing an improvement, I'm witnessing a decline in the rights and opportunities for the generations behind me. Yes. That's not progress. No, that's right. Oklahomans need their voices heard by those who actually have the wherewithal to level the playing field. We're not asking for more. We're just asking for, rather, we're demanding equal rights. Thank you.
Next up is Mindy from Maine. Come on, Mindy.
Someone was supposed to get my speech up on their phone because I didn't bring my phone. Melissa said she was going to take care of that.
Okay. All right. So we're going to bring in the next person, which is Tanya from Kentucky. Kentucky's in the house.
Hey! Washington, D.C., I know y'all don't want to cheer for Kentucky because we have Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul, but that's okay. Just bear with me for a minute and support the women's movement today from Kentucky. My name is Tana Fogel out of Lexington, Kentucky. I am here carrying the torch for so many women that have come before us. And I need you guys to tell me that you're here to carry the torch. What are you here for? To carry the torch. What are you here for? What are you here for? You better believe it. Yesterday I was on a flight and everything was so uncomfortable. I had never had a flight before coming to Washington, D.C. that was so miserable. But you know what? God gave me a revelation. He said, how miserable and how much pain did your ancestors go before you got here? Sitting in the airport is really not that important because I came here for a purpose. I came here to raise the fact that the filibuster is no good. Now, I know y'all didn't get all the way up here just to go, ooh, right? I need your energy. I need your energy right now. So wherever Mitch McConnell is, he can hear you. I came here from Kentucky, standing on the shoulders of Senator Georgia Powell's, Representative Attica Scott, my mama, my grandmama, my sisters. They all stood up for justice. How dare they, 56 years later, give us a worse voting rights bill? How dare they suppress the vote? What are they scared of? Well, no matter what they've done, including mass incarceration, they took our men, they took our loved ones, they thought we would crumble. But they forgot that the women has the power in this country. And I see some beautiful women out there. You came from your states to make a comment, right? Let me hear you scream. My time is just about out. But what I want to tell you is I'm a mother of 2, a grandmother of 11, and a great-grandmother of 3. I refuse. I will work until I take my dying breath for the injustice that this country gives us. This is the home of the brave, the land of the free. I think that meant the 1%. They the only people that's free. We are fighting. 140 million people are living in poverty. That ain't right. So will you please help me carry the torch one more time? What are you here for? What are you here for? What are you here for? To carry the torch.
Yes. Thank you, Tanya. And now we have Mindy from Maine.
I am so excited to be here on this day. I got my start in organizing, protesting for reproductive rights, so this event is particularly dear to my heart. I have worked at McDonald's for 18 years and still don't make a living wage. And during that time, I have seen countless women working hard to take care of their families and struggling to make ends meet. They work 2 jobs, they receive food stamps, and some talk casually about going to the food pantry or filling up on bread so that their children can have a nutritious meal. Women, and especially women of color, are disproportionately impacted by all of the evils named by this campaign. That is why I am here demanding a federal $15 minimum wage, voting right protections, and an end to the filibuster, which are all necessary if we are going to make systemic change.
That's right. Forward together. Forward together. Now, I am happy to bring our other co-chair of the Poor People's Campaign, a national call for moral revival. Reverend Barber's in the house. He is surrounded by women that are pushing this struggle forward. He knows the power that we have, and he's here to support the work that we're doing every day, because every woman is a working mother. So let's give it up to Reverend Barber.
Forward together. Now one step back. When we began National Moral Mondays and we were having our conversation, I looked at Liz Theo Harris and Ross Pellis and said the first Monday we need to do a national call-in from all over the country. But the second Monday that people engage in nonviolent direct action, it needed to be led by the women of the movement. Today, on the anniversary of Seneca Falls Convention, we are being led in our necessary action by women. I've got a lot of friends out here, and I think a couple of daughters. And I'm reminded of the words of Frederick Douglass when he was called upon to speak about his own participation in that momentous gathering for women's rights some years after the fact. And I'm thinking about the fact that I was asked. I want you all to know I didn't just barge in, but the sisters asked me to come, and Frederick Douglass, when he was there with 40 other men at Seneca Falls, he said this: when I look around at this assembly and see the many able and eloquent women full of the subject, ready to speak, and who only need the opportunity to impress this audience with their views, and 3 of them with thoughts and breathe and the words that burn, I do not feel like taking up any more than a very small space of your time and attention. Men have very little business here as speakers anyhow. For this is an international council, not of men, but of women, and the women should have all the say. And so I don't want to take your time long. He also said it is as true today as it was then. He said that when a great truth once gets abroad in the world, no power on earth can imprison it or prescribe its limits or suppress it. It is bound to go on till it comes to the thought of the whole world. Such a truth is women's right to equal liberty with men. She was born with it. It was hers before she comprehended it. It is inscribed upon all the powers and faculties of her soul. And no custom, no law, or usage can ever destroy it. It belongs to her. And so the women leading us here today are clear. The great truth of universal suffrage and voting has gone out into the world. And from the Civil War to the women and the Civil Rights Movement to now, people have spilled blood, gone to jail, marked for it. Long before John Lewis or any of them came to Selma, it was Amelia Boyington and the women of Selma that had organized for 30 years to lay the foundation. And in this season when extremists have so boldly committed themselves to voter suppression, we cannot let the forces of greed destroy the very rights you had before you could even comprehend them. We cannot and we will not. What we are seeing, however, and this campaign is clear on our analysis, is not Trump's fault alone. See, if it was Trump's fault alone, when he left, it would have left. But when he left, it kicked up a gear. Now, yes, he trumped lies about voter fraud and a stolen election, but what created the possibility of a Trump presidency is what we must fight. We are here today to say that the gutting of the Voting Rights Act in 2013 and the obstruction of Mitch McConnell that has prevented Congress from restoring it for over 8 years, this has undermined and eroded our democracy. But also the massive voter suppression and gerrymandering in states controlled by extremist Republicans, this has undermined and eroded our democracy. The flawed and racist electoral college, which extremists have exploited from the beginning of this nation, this has undermined and eroded our democracy. The dark money invested in propaganda campaigns to manufacture a fake populism that actually hurts poor people, this has undermined and eroded our democracy. The refusal to have national election standards that quarantine ballots, guarantee automatic registration, same-day registration, and early voting, and mail-in voting, and 24-hour voting. This has undermined our eroded democracy and eroded our democracy. The race-based gerrymandering that allows politicians to pick their voters rather than voters picking their representatives. This has undermined and eroded our democracy. And the refusal to have politicians who before now would fully address poverty and low wealth, giving millions inactive voters something to vote for. This has undermined and eroded our democracy. And all of these things before now made it possible for extremists to take over state legislatures by funding regressive, greed-driven Republicans and progress-blocking so-called moderate Democrats. These things created the political atmosphere for Trump and his many lies long before he came, and it's existing after he's gone. He inherited a system of lies. And the system of lies has given birth to the big lie. And what we see now are the forces trying to hold on to power in the face of a growing, diverse population of voters that is saying no to their vision of racism and economic injustice. You know, the truth is, can I tell the truth, sister? And I want the media to hear this because they don't want us saying stuff like this, but I'm sorry. People who call themselves moderate Democrats are really filibuster enablers doing the bidding of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Did y'all hear what I said? People who call themselves moderate Democrats are really filibuster enablers doing the bidding of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce and the military-industrial complex. Now, on the other side, McConnell Republicans are extremists. They're not even Republicans, not like my granddaddy and others. They are extremist pawns in the hands of the ruling elite and the greedy and the military-industrial complex who want political power so they can redistribute wealth upwards while poor and low and wealth people go downwards. What we face in this moment is not straight racism. It is race, but it's not race alone. This isn't Jim Crow, but James Crow Esquire. It's targeted and surgical racism and economic justice denial. It hurts poor white people, women, young people, the differently abled, and every race, creed, and culture who want to live in a democracy that works for us all. It's the 21st century tool of those who have a phobia of everybody voting. Because they know if everybody voting, they will lose and have to go home for a long vacation. As I close, I started saying in 2013, it is a shame and a disgrace that after June 25th, 2013, we have less voting rights today than we had in 1965. I said that in 2013. And that's why these women are coming together. And that's why, sisters, I'm glad to stand with you. You know, I'm a pastor, but I'm one of the few ministers in my theological seminary time that took womanist theology. Because I wanted to be able to pastor the whole church. I wanted to be able to empower all the women. You see, in my tradition, the Holy Ghost has a female name. The Spirit is Sophia. And in my tradition, God can be a man or a woman. Oh, hallelujah. Huh? Hey, God, my Father. Yeah. And so that's why you're coming together. From every race and every region of this nation. You are modeling the kind of moral fusion politics and the power we have. And I just stopped by today to say, America, listen to the sisters. Mr. President, Senator Schumer, go to Texas. Don't just go to Philadelphia, go to Texas. Go to Arizona. Go to West Virginia. Go to Kentucky. Talk to the folk on the ground. And then come back and do a speech in the well of the Congress. Just like Kennedy. Just like Lyndon B. Johnson. America, listen to the women. We want to end the filibuster. We want the true John Lewis bill, which is the For the People Act. We want a full Voting Rights Act restoration. And we want $15 minimum wage by August the 6th. Listen to the women. America, here are your leaders. If they birth us our children, they can rebirth America. These women are showing the way. Listen to the women. As Liz Theo Harris has told us, fight for the values that you hold dear, sisters. Make America hear you. It's time for this nation to move away from constitutionally inconsistent, morally indefensible, politically insidious, and economically insane attacks on voting rights and living wage. And America, don't ask us to deal with them one at a time. You know, some of the Democrats say, Reverend Barber, don't y'all bring up living wages. Just talk about voting rights. The hell you say. We don't want some of our justice. We want all of our justice. It's kind of like being pregnant. Either you are or you're not. Good God from Zion. And so, as Yara Allen said in her original song, America better be clear. Here come the women. The men right behind them. And when we all get together, we got a word for America. Somebody's been hurting our people. It's gone on far, 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 far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Listen, listen, listen to the women.
Amen, amen. Who's feeling the Spirit right now? So before we read our statement that we're here to deliver, I want to mention the groups that are here represented today. And I think this is important because we need to recognize all the work on the ground that it's happening. So with us today we have the National Welfare Rights, SCIU, Women's March, Unite Here, CWA, Move On, Roots Action, Pax Christi, American Friends Service Committee, Code Pink, United for Respect, Episcopal Church, Indivisible, Transformative Justice Network, Ubuntu Center, Democracy Initiative. And like we mentioned before, 35 states are present here today. But we know that there is 45 states organizing. All right. Well, and now I want to introduce the amazing women that are going to be speaking about this this statement today. So I want to start with Maureen Taylor from the National Welfare Rights. And I want to say we are standing behind the work that Maureen and the National Welfare Rights Movement has been doing for the years. They've been fighting for women. They've been doing a lot of the work. They planted the seeds that we are right now taking care of and making sure we see the fruits of it later on. So Maureen Taylor, we're going to have her. We have Irene Montantes from the California Poor People's Campaign. Danita Jones from Texas Poor People's Campaign. We have Barbara Arnwine from Transformative Justice Network. Sarah Steffens from Communications Workers of America. Nishmi Sarinko from the Pennsylvania Poor People's Campaign. Jody Evans from Code Pink. Natalia Farjado from Milwaukee, Wisconsin Poor People's Campaign. I know her from Milwaukee. This is how close we are as sisters from the campaign. Rachel Carmona from Women's March. Angela Montalvo from NEPPC. Jean Eversmore from WVPPC. Sorry, West Virginia. Thank you. I'm horrible with states. Little. Okay, Irene from United for Respect, Joyce from American Friends Service Committee, and Rana Ebden from Move On. So let's just give a warm welcome to our comrade, Maureen Taylor.
Let me just make one announcement. They said make sure you bend your knees and breathe deeply, drink your water, and when we do the action, make sure we spread out. We want this line to be long. Don't bunch all up. Don't make it easy for them to get you in one net. Don't be like sardines. Be like whales. No, not like whales. They impart to. Who swims alone? Oh, Lord, sharks. Oh, Jesus. All right. But anyway, spread the line out. Y'all hear that? The way apart. Now, before we go, there's one sister. She doesn't know I'm going to do this. But in this moment when we were fighting, there's a sister here who led the team that beat the worst voter suppression law after Shelby. I don't know why folk aren't talking to her and her team. And I'm saying to the vice president, the president, this is who they need to be talking to, because she led the effort and beat it and did it with a fusion model and proved intentional, not just the intentional. And that is Caitlin Swain right there. Come out here and pin the hair. Now they had 20 lawyers, black and white, but I don't want us to miss. In your midst, you got a legal warrior and she's saying, and she and her team and others like Barbara Irwin are saying, we can fight, but we can't do this by one-on-one every state. We gotta have federal protection. So I just wanted to make sure, don't anybody say, well, why don't y'all fight state by state? We know how to fight state by state, but we ought not have to fight state by state. Amen. Maureen, give it up for Maureen.
I'm going to read the first statement, the first line of the first statement. But before I do that, the next time you're at home and the Star Trek movies come on, remember what Captain James T. Kirk and Science Officer Spock said. And Science Officer Spock said the following, and I quote, "Jim, never forget that the needs of the many must always outweigh the needs of the few." Okay? We, the undersigned women, are raising the alarm that our democracy is in peril.
That's it. These are the many.
We are women of every race, religion, gender, and sexual orientation, age, ability, and more. Many of us are poor, and all of us are committed to the work of justice.
Danita.
Come on, Texas.
Today, we gather in our nation's capital, united in the conviction that we must and can change the direction of this country.
Jennifer.
Say your name. Speak.
Miss Barbara.
Come on, Miss Barbara.
We commit ourselves and our bodies so that this democracy may live up to her great promise to secure the rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness for all.
Three weeks before Congress takes its summer recess, we call for an immediate end to the filibuster, for the protection and expansion of our voting rights, and the raising of hourly wages to at least $15.
Now, we see that 140 million people are poor or one emergency away from economic ruin, including more than 70 million women.
We see poor women, especially poor women of color and LGBTQ plus women, carrying undue burdens of low wage, precarious, and unpaid work. Must stop.
Forward together, not one step back. We are women facing the indignities of a broken welfare system, housing evictions, utility shutoffs, the denial of health care, and crushing debt.
Rachel Carmona here from Women's March. On behalf of the millions of women who took the street, we see women being hit first and worst by the climate crisis and ecological devastation and on the front lines of detention, deportation, displacement, and war.
I'm Angela Montalvo from the Nebraska Poor People's Campaign. Despite these conditions, our voices are stifled and our demands for justice are unmet.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
I'm Jean Evans-Moore from West Virginia. The state where that man named Joe Manchin supposedly represents us. I understand he lives in his yacht here rather than paying a hotel bill, which he wouldn't pay anyway. We have had enough. Get on the phone and call him, leave a message, and he will leave you that recorded message that he's been leaving for months. But keep doing, be a pain in his behind. He is already in the rest of us. Our democracy is online, and so many people don't seem to get it. My grandfather and aunt were registered voters, and they did it every year when I was a kid, and I'm over 80. I cannot not be involved in what's going on now. Voting rights are under historic attack, and procedural rules like the filibuster are being used to suppress the will of the people. Fight the filibuster! Fight the filibuster! Fight the filibuster! Fight the filibuster! Fight the filibuster!
Hi, I'm Irene with United for Respect. We organize Walmart workers, Amazon workers, workers affected by Wall Street. We're here to hold corporations accountable. I am a proud partner to the Poor People's Campaign. And without our full democratic rights, we cannot challenge the injustices to which we bear witness and which threaten to displace democracy with autocracy.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
I'm Joyce Ajluni from the Quaker organization, the American Friends Service Committee. Can you believe 173 years ago, on July 18th, 1848, participants at the first Women's Rights Convention in Seneca Falls, New York, signed the Declaration of Sentiments. That's too long.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
Hello, I'm Ronna Epting, representing the over 10 million strong Move On members all across this country. Today, on the anniversary of that historic meeting, we stand together. We stand together to take up the commitments that have been made by generations of women and freedom fighters before us, for all the generations yet to be. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Forward together.
Not one step back.
I can't hear you. Forward together.
Not one step back.
Thank you.
Somebody
is hurting. Our people. It's gone on far too long. And we won't be silent anymore. Thank you so much for being here with us at this rally. But it's now time to take action. It's now time to let them know that we're truly, when we say no step back, we mean it. So we have brave women today. They're going to be taking direct action. So please follow the women next to me that are going to be leading us into action. Thank you.
What an amazing day. What an amazing, powerful day. My name is Lamonique Hamilton. I'm sitting here with my esteemed colleague, the Reverend Casimir Brown. I am right outside, right next door to the Supreme Court building. So in addition to watching it today, just being able to hear and feel the energy, it is palpable and such a wonderful, wonderful place to be. I cannot imagine being anywhere else today. We are asking, if you are watching online with us today, that you take action right along with us. You may not be in the streets, but there is so much that you can do. We are asking that you go to action.poorpeoplescampaign.org to sign our open letter to the Senate demanding 4 things. 1, an end to the filibuster. That thing's got to go. 2, to pass all provisions of the For the People Act. As Reverend Barber says, that's the true John Lewis bill, the For the People Act. 3, to fully restore the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And 4, to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour for all workers, including tipped workers. Again, you can go to action.poorpeoplescampaign.org right now to sign that open letter. And now Reverend Brown is going to tell us more about the actions coming up in the next couple of weeks.
That's right. Thanks, Lamonique. Once again, action.poorpeoplescampaign.org. action.poorpeoplescampaign.org. This is where we're coming together online across the country to take action, to raise our voice. And we know in this season of nonviolent moral direct action, we launched on July 12th, and we're continuing today. We're going to have not only this amazing action today, but on July 26th, we're coming across the country from our state campaigns, and we're targeting all senators, regardless of party, because remember, we are nonpartisan, but very political. We're coming together across the country and engaging in nonviolent moral direct action to lift up what our demands are. And you heard it from Lamonique, the end to the filibuster, passing all provisions for the People Act, fully restoring Voting Rights Act, and raising the federal minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. And that will be on July 26th. Following that, on August 2nd, we have a Moral Monday action in DC, gathering a mass group of faith leaders and poor and low-wage workers coming together to take what we say nonviolent moral direct action. And what we're doing right here is we're having a clarion call to make it clear to make it clear what we are fighting for, to make it clear that, as you heard Tanya say, that we are passing this torch of justice forward. We see that there's a legacy of women leading the charge, carrying that torch of justice forward until that we can have our demands met. And we know that this is not something that needs to happen years from now. This needs to happen right now. So we are so incredibly excited. Now we see that people are lining up to march, and we're going to go live.
Here's our call. We will never stop fighting for voting rights for all. Sisters, this is our call. We will never stop fighting for voting rights for all. Sisters,
demonstration activity. Cease and desist, or you will be arrested. That's your second warning.
You heard it there. Voting rights for all. Sisters, this is our call. We will never stop fighting for voting rights for all. That was a powerful action. It's still going. We just wanted to make sure that once again, you can still take action. We have people in the streets in DC, but you can take action wherever you are by going to action.poorpeoplescampaign.org. Action.poorpeoplescampaign.org. Sign the open letter to Congress and to the White House. Call your senators. Keep the pressure going. We're going to be here every single week. We do not want the senators to go on recess until they have delivered good on ending the filibuster, restoring and passing a fully restored Voting Rights Act, passing all provisions of For the People Act, and raising the federal minimum wage to at least $15 an hour. We can do it. We're here in the streets. We're here at our homes. We're here at work pushing for this, for voting rights for all.
This is such a wonderful, wonderful action that we're seeing taking place even right now. They are still in the streets. They are still it looks like there's some arrest happening right now, and we are just, if we could just go back to the live and watch what's going on right now.
To raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour.
All black.
What an amazing day. What an amazing day. And just to ground ourselves a little bit about what's happening here and why these women are willing to put their bodies on the line, it's because there are 140 million people in this country who right now are living in poverty, or they are one emergency away from complete economic ruin. 70 million of these people are women, and the other 70 million are people that women love. That is why we are here today. That is why these women are out here putting their bodies on the line, because it is an emergency. This is a clarion call. These things need to happen right now. And our elected officials can do. The resources are there, and they have decided not to. And we are here to make sure that justice is done. And we won't stop until justice is done. So if you are sitting at home and you want to take action right now, please go to action.poorpeoplescampaign.org, sign your name on the open letter for these demands to end the filibuster, to pass all provisions of the For the People Act, to fully restore the 1965 Voting Rights Act, and to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour for all workers, including tipped workers who are still only being paid $2.13 an hour in 2021. And if you feel so inclined, if you feel like you have to do something beyond that, sign up to join in action. We're here every Monday. Like my colleague, Reverend Kaz, has said, we're going to be here every Monday. Reverend Kaz, do you want to say a little bit more about the actions one more time?
Yes, thank you so much, La Monique. As you heard, we're going to be here every Monday. We were there on July 12th. We're here on July 19th, and we're going to be there across the country. States from across the country are taking action on July 26th. So if you are in a state and want to take action, go to action.poorpeoplescampaign.org and sign up. The information is there. We want you registered here, and we want you out taking action, whether that's here online or out in the streets. Following up on August 2nd, we're coming back to DC, folks. We're back to DC, gathering a mass number of faith leaders and poor and low income workers, side by side, taking nonviolent, moral, direct action to lift up our four demands. Lift them up because we know they are possible. Lift them up because we know everybody has the right to live. Voting rights for all, sisters, brothers, siblings. This is our call. We will never stop fighting for voting rights for all. Join us for our season of action here on the 26th, here on August 2nd. We'll see you there.